Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So guys, I'm going to do a quick discussion on a card that I really like coming out of Numbers Hunters, and I will say this, I'm a little shocked that nobody has really talked about this card at all, and I really haven't seen any video discussions on YouTubing or anything like that, so I find that a little strange, especially considering, and I hope I'm not overselling this card here, but I think that this card has the potential to be somewhat meta-defining, and I think that if Numbers Hunters was legal for Nationals, it would play a huge role in what, ultimately decides that event and what ultimately wins that event. Now, the card that I'm talking about is number 74, Master of Blades. It's a Psychic Xyz monster. It's Earth attribute, 2700 attack, 2300 defense. Definitely liking that defense there. Makes it very difficult to run over if you Maestroke it or Book a Moon, whatever. It requires 2 level 7 monsters to summon, and the effect is during either player's turn, when an effect or a card is activated that targets this face-up card, you can detach one Xyz Material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can destroy one card on the field. So first off, you gotta like the fact that this card has an inherent protection against a multitude of commonly played answers for Xyz monsters. Cards like Evac Device, Breakthrough Skill, Effect Veiler, Dimensional Prison, Big Eye, Diamond Direwolf, Maestroke, Book a Moon, Phoenix Chain, just to name a few. Not only does this card have a resistance against those, but if your opponent is stupid enough to try and use one of those cards, not only are you going to be able to negate that card, but you get to potentially blow up a card on their field just for your troubles, and you can use the effect twice. Definitely gotta like that. Now, the 2700 attack is very, very important, especially in this format, because it gets over both Draccosack and Big Eye. And since neither one of those cards can use their effects safely against this card, this is going to be a card that is absolutely vital to the Dragon Ruler mirror match, especially considering that, Elemental Dragon Blaster can't use its effect to blow this card up. Otherwise, you can just negate it. Now, since you can negate twice in one turn, and it doesn't have restrictions, like other cards, that means that your opponent also can't use Breakthrough Skill in that matchup to, bait this card out. If you have this guy face up on the field, and your opponent activates Breakthrough Skill, you can negate it, and then if they try and Big Eye or something like that later in the turn, you can negate that too. I think that this card is going to be an absolute nightmare for Evil Swarms to deal with if you're playing against Elemental Dragons, because, just what are you going to do if I summon this card turn 1? I mean, you're essentially locked out of Book of Moon, Evac Device, Forbidden Dress, and Bahamut are common answers that the Evil Swarm players will use against, very big Xyz, and you just won't have those cards at your disposal. I think that it's also worth noting that you can trigger this card's effect using your own cards. So let's say, you have Master of Blades on board and you're playing in a Dragon Ruler mirror match, and your opponent pretty much goes for the only out in the deck that they have, summoning a level 8 Synchro, something like Crimson Blader or Red Dragon to run this guy over. All you have to do is wait for them to summon that card, enter their battle phase, try and run it over. You can use your own Breakthrough Skill targeting your Master of Blades, then activate Master of Blades effect. That will negate your own Breakthrough Skill, and then you can just blow up their Synchro and keep it rolling. So, if you're a very savvy player, this card is just going to own the Dragon Ruler mirror match. I think that Mermail are also going to like this card because it's going to really help them against the Dragon Ruler match too, because, a lot of times Abyss Gaios does a lot of work for that deck, but, Blaster can blow up Abyss Gaios, and they can use Breakthrough Skill to turn Abyss Gaios' effect off, which they obviously won't be able to use against this match. I think that this card is going to be fantastic in the Dragon Ruler mirror match because it's going to be one Xyz that you can put on the board that is not named Mermail Abyss Gaios, that, not only will your opponent, they won't be able to Effect Veiler it, they won't be able to Breakthrough Skill it, they won't be able to Snatch Steal it with Big Eye, they won't be able to blow it up with, Draccosack. This is at least if you have materials on it. So, this card is going to go the full mile, and it's going to be really good, unfortunately, for Dragon players to summon this guy turn 1 against Evil Swarm, because, I just don't see that deck having many answers to it if you already get this guy on board. If there are many answers to that card, I'm just not seeing them. I think that this card is going to be huge. I think that it's going to be like the next really great Xyz in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of how many commonly played answers that this card stops, like Evac Device and Book of Moon and Phoenix Chain, where those cards just wreck other Xyz. Let me know what you guys think. It's a very good thing that this card is not legal for Nationals, because I think that it's a secret rare coming out of Numbers Hunters, and man, that price would just go through the freaking roof. Thank you guys for watching as always, and take care. Subscribing makes life happy.